the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to tdphinstalk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Also, welcome back to the new year. I guess welcome to the new year. 2025 is upon us. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all hit that like button on your way in your building. Let the friends and family members know about the channel as well. We appreciate all the love and support right here on TD Fins Talk. We do want you to know that this stream is being powered by BetUS. Receive a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 using code YouTube150. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for a sports book, BetUS is where you want to be. Make sure that you check it out, especially if you're, like I said, if you're looking for a sports book, make sure you check out BetUS because supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel, all right? This week's odds are available, by the way, so if you want to get in on the action, don't wait too late. Obviously, week 18, I think this is the week where you can take advantage of a lot of stuff on BetUS, honestly. Why do I say that? Because there's a lot of obviouses. There's a lot of obvious situations on BetUS this week, in my opinion, at least, you know. I think there is. Like, for instance, Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots. I mean, the Bills are good enough to beat the Patriots regardless. and 3 points is nothing. That's still a greatly well-coached team. Green Bay over the Bears, that's pretty obvious. And a lot of the money lines are the obvious ones. So get in on the action, take advantage of it on BetUS. Again, use code U2150 to take advantage of that bonus. All right. Shout out to Flick Short, said, what's your thoughts on our linebackers and defensive tackles? We can chat about that within the stream. LBs, DTs. All right. Question mark. I can hit that at some point in the show. All right. I got you covered. Flicks also said, are we even surprised? Get ready for the clip. Hey, get ready. I'm with you, man. Shout out to Adam, intern Adam Padilla in the building. I love you, brother. He said, it's the smart move. It's only supposed to be 35 in Jersey on Sunday. All right. Let's get into the action, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So first thing first, Tua Tagovailoa is not looking like he's going to be playing in his biggest game of his career. Here we are again. Year one, Tua Tagovailoa got, he was banged up. They said the hip, recovering from it. He finally got a start, and he had an opportunity in the last game of the season versus the Buffalo Bills to take us to the playoffs. You're winning, you're in, and he played absolutely bad, terrible. He's a rookie, though, right? He's just a rookie. Second year comes around. Hey, man, beat Tennessee, and we're good. You just beat Tennessee, and we're good. Played absolutely terrible. But it's his second year, and Flores doesn't like him, right? Third year, man, look at the stat line. Just the rejuvenated quarterback. Oh, no. Late in the season, when the season's on the line, he's hurt. He's out for the year. Concussed. Green Bay. Missed the last 5 games or so. Couldn't finish out strong. Skyler almost beat Buffalo, but if Tua was playing, we would have won, but he wasn't playing. But hey, things happen. Last year, oh my gosh, we got our first season where Tua did not get hurt. The first season in 4 years. Played bad down the stretch in the last few games of the season, and first round opportunity, played terrible. I mean, let's be fair and let's be realistic. Not many people can play in that cold of weather. You got to give them a pass on that. Here we are this year, fighting for our life. And it's important to mention, why are we fighting for our life in the first place? Because he missed 4 games early in the season. And now here we are in the last 2 critical weeks, and he's not available last week. But thank God Tyler Huntley came in and played the best game a Dolphins quarterback played this year. And then, bam, here we are. Let's get that hip some rest and get him out there versus the Jets. Tyler Huntley getting majority of the snaps. They're preparing for Tyler Huntley to start. Looking as if Tua Tagovailoa is now going to miss the biggest game in his career to help his team potentially get into the playoffs. Not going to be available. It's the hip. So between 4 out of 5 years of being hurt and inconsistent, terrible late season play, we need to build around him and make the team better. This is what we're being told. If the Dolphins really cared about the organization, what's going on right now, it is what it is. But you actually have to make significant moves in the offseason to try to either upgrade at the quarterback position or bring in a developmental piece that you're trying to groom for the future, like legitimately. And when I say legitimately, maybe a second or third round quarterback. maybe a second or third round quarterback. This is getting absolutely unacceptable and embarrassing. I'm not even addressing those who want this charade to go on anymore. I just think I need to, going into 2025, address Dolphin fans. This is getting absolutely embarrassing. Now, I understand why some people like Tua and they believe in him because there's an argument that he's been the best quarterback since Marino. But ladies and gentlemen, that still may not be saying much. That may not be saying much. It's the Kyler Murrays of the world, Tua Tagovailoas of the world, the Trevor Lawrences of the world, the Geno Smiths of the world. It's those guys that are good enough not to be good enough that just waste time with your organization. They just waste time in the organization, trying to build around them, trying to figure out the puzzle, trying to get them to Flacco the situation. Trying to get them to Flacco the situation. If we're going to be completely honest, Tua Tagovailoa not playing versus the Jets, it solidifies that we don't have a reliable quarterback. That it's not just a moment in time where we're just having bad luck. He's fragile. And the reality is what we have to live with as a fan base is unfair. I want y'all to really think about this. We have a guy that we can't go for it on 4th and 1 and use him like 90% of all football teams do. We don't have a quarterback that can just put his head down and let people push him forward for a first down. We have a quarterback that when the game is on the line and you need him to go get that first down, he can't go do it. And in the rare situations that he does, it costs us more than the benefit of him doing it. Just like that Houston game. Any other quarterback that was durable, you respect what he did. You would love, oh my gosh, that's how you put your team on the back. But unfortunately, we pay for it. We pay for it even worse long term. That's no way to operate on having a quarterback. People say things to me like, man, TD, you're unfair. You expect Tua and the team to be perfect. Well, when you have a Tua Tagovailoa and he has limitations that take away just the basic necessity, normal things that most teams get to take advantage of, then you actually have to be perfect in order to succeed. And it is unfair and unrealistic to ask somebody to be perfect, but there you have it. What do you want to do? Well, bro, can we talk about the O-line? Can we talk about how they need to be better? Granted, the O-line could definitely be better. They're not even in the bottom 16 of the league. They're in the better half of the league. Why? Because of the system we run. Well, TD, we run that system because they're bad. We got to get rid of the ball quick. Well, guess what? If that's true, how would you propose that we go get a better O-line with no money and no resources? The time has come to an end, ladies and gentlemen. We had several years to take advantage of our salary situation. Those days are no longer here. Now we're in the pinching pennies era because you're paying your quarterback massive amounts of money and you have bloated contracts that you just re-sign players to. You don't have the flexibility that you want, and any flexibility that you want to use, you're about to become the Saints with. Everybody talks about, oh, the Saints are proof that the salary cap isn't real, but they haven't noticed over the last 3 years, they've progressively gotten, yes, they figured out a way to get in the positive of the cap every year, but they progressively gotten worse and worse and worse. How would you like to pay for the O-line? You have no money going into next season. When you read it, when you restructure some contracts, you might get up to about 35. And if you go all nuclear, you'll get around $40 million. But you also have about 20 players that you need to sign on the roster with voids. Voids like the defensive tackle position, that's important. Voids like the safety position, that's mightily important. Even if you got a whole bunch of players on $1 million, you don't have much money left. So here we are preparing ourselves to move forward and lose yet more talent if we thought it was talent in the first place. Well, you have to go in the draft. I agree. You can only draft with so many people, though. And our draft success has been hit and miss mightily. And I love what CB83 said in the chat just now, which is 100% correct. Whether you're a Tua fan or not, he said Tua pisses me off because he doesn't protect himself. We can't make excuses for his lack of care when getting outside the pocket. I totally agree with you, but here's where I'm going to push back on that. And this is where I need people to pay attention. CB's comment basically suggests Tua put himself in this situation and the team in this situation, which Tua actually said himself recently. He actually said he put the team in this situation by doing that, being reckless. In so many words, he actually said that himself recently. But here's the problem. I think Tua knows good and well in his head what he should have done. But, and this is where I plead with you all to reason with my logic. You don't have to agree with me, but reason with this logic right here. The reason why he disregards the necessity of being safe is because he knows, based off of all that he has in his tool belt, if he's ever going to move the needle, he needs something else. He needs something else in his tool belt, but he just doesn't have it. So he's out here like, I mean, maybe I just need to be better at throwing outside the numbers. It ain't arm strength isn't an easy thing to improve. Like, even if you improve your arm strength, is so marginal because your arm strength is your arm strength. Especially the older you get, you start to wear, and you don't have arm strength like that forever. And he's like, I'm not going to get it thrown outside the numbers, not consistently enough. Then I have to be a guy who can make plays off script. And you saw some games this year where he was trying to do that, and he's had a little bit of success. And then it just disappeared. Like, there was like this 3-game stretch at one point. He was getting out the pocket, throwing on the run, and just so accurate. You was like, man, and everybody was like, see, he's killing the narrative. This is all script. Then it just disappeared. It just disappeared. So the only thing he has left is when he sees an open lane and nobody open. As a quarterback, you're supposed to run. But he can't accept the fact that I can't. I'm really not allowed to. I shouldn't because of the big picture. But it hurts my team because we're going to punt the ball here, or we're going to settle for less. No guts, no glory. I got to put it on the line. So you can't blame them, but you can blame them, but you can't blame them. And this is why we come to these moments of season on the line decisions. You ask anybody out here, do you want Tua Tagovailoa running the football? 90% will say no. But when the season is on the line or a big play needs to be made, you're down by one possession to the Texans, and you're driving, y'all want him to sit there and say, no, I'll punt, even though it's right there in front of me. 8 yards in front of me. And it looks like I may take some contact, but I can get it. Is that what you want him to do? This is the conundrum. 4th and 1. What is McDaniel calling? Well, y'all getting mad at McDaniel because he doesn't have the easy play that most teams have to just keep the chains moving, which is a quarterback sneak. This is the conundrum. But we paid him. And we're going to continue down the road of trying to figure out what we need to do to make it work. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to just live in a world of whys, we can't sit around and complain as much. Yeah, sometimes you can vent it, but we can't sit around and complain about Tua as much anymore. We have to say, okay, how can we make everything around him perfect? How can we make everything around him perfect? See, that's being solution oriented. But every time I get my brain to turn on and start thinking about how we can make everything around him perfect, I stop myself and say, oh my gosh, is this what it's coming to? We have to figure out a way to make things unrealistic for everybody else and not him. See, let me let y'all in on a little secret. Tua Tagovailoa actually is very accurate. The whole spot throwing and all of that is debatable, and I don't want to get into it. But let's be honest, he's accurate with the football. He can put it in a spot, not saying spot throwing because I don't want to argue with people anymore, but he can put it in a spot. But let me let y'all in on a little secret. Everything doesn't have to be perfect around Tua. You know what needs to happen for Tua to succeed? And I've already said it 10 minutes ago. That accuracy is his superpower. But he got to be perfect. You know how he be having those games? People like, man, he was 21 for 25 and you're complaining? And you go look at those 4 incompletions and you can literally find at least one play where that was the game right there. That 1 or 2 bad throws. Oh my gosh, that underthrow to Tyreek, that was the one right there would have changed the whole game. That's a touchdown. That overthrow, it's always that 1 or 2 throws in a game that would have flipped it upside down. So this is why I've always maintained the position that Tua has to be perfect for us to win. Now, we're not talking about versus the Browns. We're not talking about versus the Jags. We're not talking about versus the bad teams in the league. See, these teams are so bad, they leave you room for error. Just like we be bad sometimes, we leave the other team room for error. They leave us room for error. So when Tua has a great game, but it ain't perfect, y'all say to yourself, see, this is all we need to do every week. The one thing that I've learned in this NFL, when you talk about talking heads, analysts, YouTubers, beat writers, the one thing that I learned Everybody always runs from the opponent in the conversation. Everybody tries to justify their stance and ignore who you play matters. Yeah, you can't control your schedule, so you may luck out and have an easier road than others or a harder road than others. But the one thing that I've learned this year, the one variable in every debate that no one really wants to bring up, and when you bring it up, you shut it off and you get to the next topic, you really don't want to sit there and really discuss it, because that's where all your answers are. That's where your answers are, ladies and gentlemen. The level of competition will answer every question that you have. The level of competition will answer every question that you have. But since the answer you come up with, evaluating it that way, isn't what you want it to be, we just so dismiss who you play. It's a correlation all through the league. This isn't a Miami Dolphins thing. It is a literal correlation throughout the league. Do you know how many teams? It's not just the Dolphins. Do you know how many teams beat the bad teams and lose religiously against the good teams? Well, TD, you're not going to win all the good teams. I'm talking about less than 25% win percentage against the good teams. All the good teams have a 50% or above against the good teams win percentage. All of them. They at least keep it, even if you lose just as much as you win, you got a solid piece of winning against the solid teams. Look at last year. Well, we beat one good team. It was the Cowboys. We were the Cowboys. The Cowboys were us. So when they beat all bad teams and no good teams, we beat all bad teams and no good teams. When you play each other, somebody got to win. But you can't use that as a justification. See, that kills the narrative. And then on top of it, both teams struggled so bad in that game. Dallas literally gave it away. We had to kick 5-6 field goals to win it. They left 3 touchdowns on the board, twice in the red zone, fumbling the ball over. Once before half, could have took 3 and threw a 10-yard pass, and we got them at the 1-yard line and kept them out the end zone. We don't want to talk. We don't want to talk about who you play. Another thing, and I'm about to switch gears here, and people are going to get mad. I truly, unequivocally, don't think our defense is nearly as good as the rankings and the results suggest. At all. Our defense is not good, but statistically they are. We have played 12 non-playoff teams, ladies and gentlemen. 12. almost 12 mediocre to worse offenses. 12. Every week I see the team can't tackle. I see them beating up on bad O-lines. I see them taking advantage of terrible quarterbacks and some young quarterbacks that can be manipulated. This defense ain't good at all. And you know the sad part? We're going to think this, especially if we keep Anthony Weaver next year, if you don't get a job or something like that, if we keep him next year, we're going to think that, hey, you saw our defense last year. This is a great building block to build for. Now we can go in the draft and add to it. We think I'm telling y'all, I know why we just stay in purgatory. I know why we stay in purgatory. These front office people live off of this mantra that it's an NFL team. They all can beat you on any given Sunday, which is true to an extent, but the extent matters. They think the Panthers can beat you just as bad as the Lions on any given Sunday, which is true, but to an extent. They put merit in bad wins just as much as they do in good wins. And that's why when we don't have no good wins, they think it's still peachy creamy when we have a above 500 record. Like so many people evaluate this NFL as, man, this person produced a winning team. That's 9 wins. That's above 500. Something must be happening right. No, you're just here's the biggest foolery in the NFL. When you have a team that's constantly above 500, that's loaded with top tier talent, ladies and gentlemen, it has nothing to do with the coach. It typically has nothing to do with the coach. There are some rare occasions where it do, which means it simply is the coach. If you're failing, just like the Jets, if you're failing with top tier talent with the easy record, playing bad teams, then it's the coach. But the Miami Dolphins for the last several years have literally been living off of the fact that they've played some of the most bottom of the barrel teams in the NFL and have been very fortunate on specific given weeks to not have to face the toughest version of certain teams. It reminds me of the Lions 3 years ago when we just absolutely scorched their secondary, but nobody realizes that both of their safeties and a corner were literally out that specific week. Deshaun Elliott was one of those guys. He played every game that season except the Dolphins game, and we brought him in to play for us the very next year. But and I understand there is something to it. You still got to go out and perform. But when you have immense talent like we do with Waddle, Tyreek, and company, you should beat all the bottom of the barrel teams. But this is where we are. So back to the subject at hand, man. Tua Tagovailoa not playing in the biggest game of his career. It is a massive letdown, but ladies and gentlemen, at some point we got to stop being disappointed about what we should expect at this point to be inevitable. And on top of being inevitable, I hate to go ahead and give him a conclusion if he's not going to be available, but this is typically the game that we're all mad at him anyway because he doesn't even play a good game. But it's the Jets. He's always beating the Jets, but he always dodging them late in the season when it matters most. You do know Tua is undefeated against the Jets, but he always dodges them. For some reason, he don't really match up with them. He's hurt or whatever it may be late in the season during games. And I'm not saying he would have lost to him, but history tells us. So hopefully Huntley wins the game. If he doesn't, Tua has to own it. If Huntley does win the game, and Denver loses, is Tua even going to be available for the first round of the playoffs? And then you have to ask yourself, should you even do that to Huntley and put Tua out there with this notion of best chance to win with Tua? I don't know. But this is where we are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to switch gears here. We want to get to another topic. And by the way, in 2025, we want to stay on topic as best we can. We're going to have much more organized shows with less chaos of just everywhere. Right there, we had a huge segment talking about the Tua Tagovailoa not playing and the overall gist of the team in that regards. Now I want to get to Christopher Grier with these reports that the Miami Dolphins could be looking to replace him. First of all, I hate that this came out because I'm so conflicted. Now, don't cancel me yet. What do you mean convicted? He the worst. Don't cancel me. I'm conflicted because I actually don't believe. I don't believe it. I don't believe the article. I don't believe whoever came out with this. But then I do, but I don't. So I'm conflicted on sticking to, because man, I've never seen a master like Chris Grier. Like I've always told y'all, the one thing you can admire about that man in your own personal life is his ability to survive. Don't cancel me when I say that. And I only say that as a formality. I don't care if somebody cancel me, but I'm saying this to be dramatic and paint the picture of how I feel. Don't cancel me. And basically that's an expression of don't kill me for saying what I'm about to say, because I'm about to defend Chris Grier. I'm about to defend him a little bit. Not because I believe in the defense, but I'm defending him of how he would defend himself, in which he might actually have a valid point. First, I start by saying, why y'all mad at Chris Grier? Why are y'all mad at Chris Grier? He only gave you almost everything you wanted. And then the one thing he didn't give you that he wanted, he eventually came to terms and wanted to give it to you. And the head coach sat him down and convinced all the brass that we didn't need it. So let's backtrack, back up a little bit and start with he only gave you all you wanted. That's what I see here. Now, I know it's a lot of people that watch this town don't believe in Tua. But that don't mean you didn't want to draft him. Some of y'all still wanted to draft him now. Now, some of you didn't. I get it. I get it. I'm not talking to y'all, but a lot of people, you still wanted to draft him. You just realize who he is now. And then furthermore, on top of that, some of y'all wanted to tank for him. So he only gave a lot of y'all what you wanted. He passed up on Herbert. He passed up on Hurts. He passed up on Love to give y'all what you wanted. Christopher Grier gave you Tyreek and Waddle for Tua. Oh my gosh, Grier got to do better. You know, Devontae Parker, Jakeem Grant, and all them. We need real receipt. He went out and got you Jalen Waddle. Oh, well, it still ain't enough. He went out and got you Tyreek Hill. Yeah, but we'll never be good if we don't get a run game and Derrick Henry. We've been begging for Derrick Henry for 2 years. We've been begging for first-round draft pick running backs for dating back to Flores in the beginning of McDaniel. But he go get you A-Chain and Mostert to have career years the year he got him. He ain't been doing nothing but giving y'all exactly what y'all been asking for. Now, he neglected you on the O-line for several years. And he failed there because he did draft some. Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, Eichenberg, Solomon Kinley, if I remember. I mean, he'd been drafting them. Now, Austin Jackson is a serviceable right tackle. Not what I would have gotten at that draft pick. He ain't living up to it, but he's serviceable. Robert Hunt ended up being a beast, just got too expensive, and he didn't manage the contract properly. I get that. You know? Eichenberg, Kinley may not be what you wanted him to be, but he invested a few, and then he can't give up on his draft picks right away. He got to, just because they have a bad rookie year, they might turn out. A lot of y'all justify that even with Tua, so he got to try to see it through. And that ain't working. Eichenberg is, it ain't working. But we always say Eichenberg. Who else are you going to say? You can't kill him for one guy. Not saying that's the only one, because he could have made more investments. And Patrick Paul ain't looking right. I'm just saying, I'm gonna leave that alone. I always tell y'all, I'm gonna leave it alone. Noah Igbenogany, yes, you can shame Grier all you want, but hold on. Grier can be in there arguing with Ross. Man, you gonna hold Noah against me? That's on the coach. I brought you a talented corner in Noah. Do you see what he's doing in Washington? And ladies and gentlemen, if you ain't paying attention, you may want to go take a look at what he's doing in Washington. You may want to pay attention to what he's doing in Washington. They feel like they found their future in Noah Igbenogany. Real talk. No trolling. He did bring you Brandon Jones. That was a good hit. Should have kept him. That's where he did fail. I mean, there's failures. Every GM got some failures, right? He brought you Javon Holland, who all y'all thought was so good. I was trying to educate you and say, I'm not seeing what you're seeing, but I'm going to leave it alone. Y'all notice I don't talk that bad about Javon Holland because y'all were living in this delusional world. I try not to kill. I'm already killing you. I already in the past was killing you over Tua, right? But then I just look like the most absolute, like, and that's the sad thing. Like, I speak my mind, but I do hold back a little sometimes. It's only fair. It's only right. You know, you got to gauge it. I speak my mind a lot, but sometimes I just say, ain't no need to bring it up because they really going to think I'm a hater. I'm already ragging on Tua and his durability and his late season play and big moments. They don't like that. But if I come out and say Jalen Phillips ain't all that, I mean, he's solid. Oh, they going to get on me. But I hint it sometimes. When I come out and say, man, y'all out here talk about Javon Holland going to make all pro, I don't see what y'all seeing when I evaluate him. I see a whole bunch of bad teams and bad quarterbacks that he's taking advantage of, which ain't bad. But every time we play a good team, he ain't showing up like Minkah Fitzpatrick. He ain't showing up like Reed and guys like that. He's absolutely atrocious against the great competition. But, you know, I always got to remind myself, when you play 12 bad teams a year, you ain't going to remember the 5. Especially when the whole team bad, you ain't going to remember the 5 for the specific player that played great against them 12 bad teams. You're not going to remember the 5 bad games. You'll call it out during the game, but you ain't going to remember it because 12 games you shouted his praises and 5 of them you didn't. All you're going to remember is them 12 for the overall picture. And last year, I was a little more aggressive when he was at his highest height. Oh, man, he going to be all pro this year. He's not what y'all think. Now, now I know you're not a Dolphins fan, TD. It's one thing for you to hate on Tua, but now you hating on everybody. Dang, I just can't be honest. Now this year, everybody can't stand Javon Holland. Oh, my gosh, he's like having the worst season. He's been having worse seasons. Just statistically, we've been playing terrible teams, and he show up. I got to go back in and toot my own horn when I used to say this about Xavier Howard. He is a great player, but you done already got his prime. Trade him now. You done got his prime. I can see the cracks. I see him. He's an opportunistic corner. He's not actually this dog sound corner. He's an opportunistic corner. I'm going to bait you into throwing that because I'm already going to guess that I'm going to cut that off. I'm not actually doing it real time. This guy is in breakaway speed. So I'm going to show him beating me by a yard, throw it deep, and right when you cock back, I'm going to get it. That's a ball hawk, and I like that. But them don't sustain long term. And then I told you about the injuries and how we handled that Xavier Howard situation. I was 1,000% correct. Exactly what I said was going to happen happened. Chris Grier's ability to survive. He's done a lot of solid things, but he's done a lot of bad things. And he fell off the wagon when every move he made was to support proving that one guy was it. Y'all give me 1 second. Sorry, y'all. Just helping the wife. Thanks for your patience there. Um, but Chris Grier made some good decisions, but he also made some bad ones. And I think that it started when he had, y'all think that this is about Flores for me, but I keep trying to tell y'all, Ross had a decision to make. And as soon as Ross chose Grier, now Grier knew I got to prove to be right. Because if I prove to be wrong, Ross ain't going to look at me the same because he chose what I believed in my direction and what I think should happen over Flores. That's what happened. And from that point on, it wasn't about the Dolphins' long-term success. It was about the Dolphins' long-term success with Tua, no matter what. So, and don't let me fool you here. Grier done made too many terrible mistakes, and I told you he should have been fired a long time ago, but his ability to survive is always there. Because it's funny to me how we be getting these media leaks. Y'all think that it was just coincidental that they came out with McDaniel, sat everybody down and explained to them and showed them why we don't need the O-line, and they fooled you. Let me tell you why they fooled you. The first year he sat everybody down and said we don't need the O-line, didn't we break all kind of records on the offense? But Tua got hurt. We broke all those records and Tua got hurt, right? Was anybody complaining about the O-line 3 years ago? I'm talking about in the season. Don't give me before and after. No, during the season when we were putting up 70 on Denver and we were killing everybody, did you hear people complaining about the O-line all year? Yes or no in the chat, and please be honest. Don't stick with your narrative because you want to keep on blaming the O-line. But did you hear anybody complaining about the O-line 3 years ago in the first 12 weeks of the season? I'll do you one better. People were actually praising the O-line. People were actually praising the O-line. Now, how were they able to fool you into thinking the O-line was good? Just like they were able to fool you in thinking this offense was good. Just like they were able to fool you in thinking a certain player was good. Y'all don't see the correlation, a lot of y'all. They fooled all y'all to think the O-line was good. Even so much to where you started saying Tua made him good. How he escaped it. How did they fool you into thinking the O-line was good? And fool you into thinking that this offense is good and nobody will ever be able to stop this speed. And then that one guy, he rejuvenated his career. He's one of the best in the league when he healthy. You still hear people saying that. Why is everything? It's not just one thing, but all three. I want y'all to remember these three elements. They fooled you into thinking the O-line was good. They fooled you into thinking this offensive system overall was good, even though it's only good against bad teams. And they fooled you into thinking that Tua Tagovailoa was that good. Why is it that all three of them are declining together? It ain't, well, that's still good and that's declining now. All three are declining together. Let that sink in. Because it was all just a gimmick. Go look at our schedule the last 3 years. We have been one of the most lucky teams in the NFL to literally over the last 3 years. Go look at all the last 3 years. You're going to find 10 or more non-playoff teams that we played in all 3 years. And we've won just that amount of games, except this year, probably way less. And we beat almost all of them. And we lost to some of them too. Like the Tennessees of the world we keep losing to. It's the same story every year, man. We done played 10, 11, 12 bad teams. I mean, some of the worst offenses in the league. And the only ones that beat us are the bad teams that got a good defense. That's even more proof. This year, it wasn't supposed to be this way. But you know what we benefited from this year? You know what? I'm going to say this now. You know what we've benefited from the last 3 years? Here's the reality. This is what we've benefited from the last 3 years that goes so underestimated. The Jets. The Patriots we knew were going to be bad. They're building. We benefit from that though, right? The Jets. We like literally got 4 wins every year, guaranteed. Hopefully we can keep that going this year, right? But you automatically start the year with 4 wins guaranteed because of how bad the Jets are. I did not think they were going to be this bad this year. But if the Jets actually become a good team and get competitive, Miami's screwed. Miami's screwed. If you split with the Jets any game in the last 3 years, you don't make the playoffs. I want y'all to think about that. Just splitting with the Jets in the last 3 years, and McDaniel misses the playoffs 3 years in a row. Just splitting with them. It's a benefit to you when you only have one team in your division that you got to worry about. And even if you lose to them, you got 4 other wins. And CB's right. He in the chat saying, TD, you said they'd be better than us, and they aren't. You're right. I was dead wrong thinking that the Jets would be better than us. But that's one of the main reasons I was even more concerned about this season, because I thought the Jets would be a good team. This is why you can't compare us to the Bengals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Ravens. You can't compare us to teams like that. We're multiple teams in the division. You can't compare us to the NFC North, the NFC West. 3+ teams that are solid or average or better, not average or worse. We have benefited from our schedules mightily, and people don't see that. Next year's schedule looks like, and I could be totally wrong, but when you see next year's schedule, way too early prediction. Dolphins might win 6 or 7 games next year. And if the Jets suck again, you can add another one. If you play the Browns late, you can add another one. Play them early, they're going to fix their issues on the defense. I mean, I'm looking at our schedule next year. I just got to see how it forms out and how people do this offseason. We'll see what happens. All right. We talked about the Tua not playing potentially. We talked about Grier. I'm going to get out here and help my wife with dinner. Yeah, I'm gonna stop right there. TD Fans Talk admitted you hate the Jets. Their division rival. I do hate them, but not like you're suggesting right now. Oh, I hate them. Like I don't fear them enough to really like hate them. Like I don't fear them enough. Like they're just the Jets. They bad. The one time I believe in you, can't even do that. Oh, let me hit these super chats before I get out of here, man. People are using their hard-earned money to show this channel some love, and I want to thank y'all because your boy about to invest in new computer that can handle more and do a better production, but they expensive. So thank everybody who's sending the super chats, showing love to this channel, helping me out. Also, if you're gonna send larger donations like some of you do, send them via the Cash App. $ TD Finstalk, because it goes a lot further. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and read these super chats before I get out of here. TD, you so funny with your video titles. It be so dramatic, bro. LOL. Happy New Year's, big homie. Fins up. I said, breaking news. Tua Tagovailoa not playing in biggest game of career. Is that true? I mean, is it not true? Is this not the biggest game of his career supposed to be? Is this not the biggest game of his career? I'm just titling it what I think. You saw Huntley with less snaps. Imagine with most of the snaps with the starters. We can talk about that later, Flicks. I'm going to get into this Huntley thing. Happy New Year's. May God continue to lead you. Thank you. He always has and always will because I'm only going to allow him to. A. Burgos been a member forever, man. Salute to the homie. Said insanity repeating. Expecting different results, get a veteran QB for backup. Tua's never gonna make it. Man, like I've always hoped that something happened where I just say, man, I never saw this. I'm wrong. He is, but even when I have said that, I didn't think this was possible. It still end up being what I thought originally. No, it ain't. That's another conversation. Flip side said 1/3 of the playbook is missing because Tua can't sit in the pocket and hit the wide open wide receiver deep when they got open like a normal QB. He caps this offense potential. This is true, in my opinion, at least, in yours, obviously. Night Wolf with the love said, TD, not sure it's been said, but I feel this organization took him out so the narrative of him losing when you need it most is covered by injury. That too. You might be right. And who knows, maybe they want to file that insurance claim, injury insurance claim. It'll help the salary cap moving forward because it takes some off of the salary cap with the insurance policy on players. I'm going to look into that because there's some rules around that helps the salary cap for some players when they get injured and they have insurance. So it could be less of a cap hit, which is something that's going to start happening more often with that revelation. A. Burgo said, this team has no O-line, iffy QB, small receivers, and soft coaching. There are a lot of missed games by QB and penalties and fumbles. Ross should have a higher standard. Front office is weak. According to Ross, the team is succeeding financially, man. They're still doing their thing, all right? Slippy Owl 2 said, this just came in off the AP wire. Dolphins suck. Yeah. Lino said, my New Year's resolution was not to buy in what TD's selling. LOL. Stop hating on my brother, my boy Tua, Bills Mafia. PS, y'all will never beat the Bills again. It's sad when the Jets and Bills, I hope y'all keep Tua. It's sad. Slippy Out 2 said, you bums are guaranteed 2 losses a year. Go Bills. Poking their chest out as usual. All right, and last one comes from God's Child, dropping a big love on the channel, said Drew Brees didn't get his first 5,000-yard season till year 8. He didn't get 30 touchdowns till year 8. Didn't get 70% completion till year 9. San Diego gave up on him after season 5. Drew Brees' best season were the last 5. Is that what you want to wait on? You want to go through 7, 8 years and say, all right, now if he can be Breeze for the last 5. Is that what we do now? We give a quarterback 6, 7 years and say, now we expect you to have arrived. Give us the Breeze. Like, congratulations to Drew Brees doing the rare thing. Congratulations to Sam Darnold doing something rare. Why is it that we justify things with the rare and we ignore things with the higher probability? This is why y'all go out y'all way to comp him with Breeze. This is exactly why y'all go out of your way to comp him with Breeze. So you can use that same narrative. The same narrative. It's sad, man. But like I said, congratulations to Drew Brees of doing it. But if you're banking on Tua to be Drew Brees, what are the odds? That's the conversation you don't want to have. That's the conversation you don't want to have. All right. And hey, if we're stuck with them, I mean, if you're a Dolphins fan, you hope that he ends up being the same thing because we're stuck with him. Time always tells. I'm open for him to be the next Breeze, but guess what? I'm not going to bet on it. So therefore, we could very much be wasting time. A lot of quarterbacks we do this with, and they still end up failing. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Once again, Happy New Year's. Welcome to this channel. If you are new, make sure that you subscribe to TD Fans Talk. Salute to all the mods and all the members of the channel. Shout out to the homie Fins Takes with CB83. Y'all go sub to him as well. Again, this stream was powered by BetUS. Don't forget to take advantage of that 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. Using code YouTube150. Love you all. Appreciate you all. If you're looking for a new sports book, BetUS is where you want to be. I will see y'all soon. Until next time, everybody be blessed. Go after your goals in 2025. And listen, man, it's about one day at a time, trying to start that consistency. We've all failed at something, but guess what? Thank God we all got another opportunity. Love y'all. I'll see y'all soon. Peace. I'm out.